Hello folks, it's time for the amazing Mr. Smelly weekly gonzo video where I just film POV with very little editing. Today, we're going to talk about fragrances I've actually got through full bottles of. This is real stuff, okay? No BS in this video. A lot of reviewers talk about amazing fragrances and then wield a bottle that has only been used about 2 or 3 times. I'm talking about fragrances where I've got through the whole or nearly the whole bottle, and it's all about the truth here on the Mr. Smelly channel. By the way, if you want to buy fragrance samples in the USA, Canada, or Puerto Rico, please go to myfragrancesamples.com. There is a link in the description. Amazing range of designer and niche fragrances, and I highly recommend these guys. The guy Mark who runs it is someone I know well and a really, really reliable guy. Okay, let's get into it. So bottles I've emptied. Here we go. First up, you can just about see pretty much empty there to the last drop. Lorenzo Villarese Uomo, mid-90s release, and you're going to see a theme here. There's a lot of citrus aromatics because that's what I tend to reach for on a daily basis, okay? It's all very well, Bois de Portugal by Creed, one of my favourites of all time, but it's a little bit more of an evening wear, formal wear type smell to me, I find, okay? The camera's wobbling there. Let's see if we can get that bad boy to sit still. This one is really easy to wear any time of the year. It is citrus with loads of aromatics, and it's kind of an emphasis on the aromatic in the citrus aromatic. Citruses, green herbs, and a beautiful Mediterranean chic vibe. Really enjoyed wearing that one, and kind of considering getting a backup bottle. It's a little bit expensive, a niche fragrance, but I do love it. Next up then, we've got Eau de Guerlain by Guerlain, 1974 release. Similar kind of story, bit like their their equivalent to Dior's Eau Sauvage, a classic citrusy eau de cologne with depth and complexity. Again, fabulous natural smelling citrus opening notes, really nice herbal aromatics and subtle spices with lavender in the mid too, and then this very nice white, crisp, woody, dry down bit of vetiver, kind of could lean a tiny bit masculine, a tiny hint of ruggedness in that one. Really enjoy that one, and I've got through most of the 100ml bottle. Another one that I really wear on the regular, this is Chanel's Eau de Cologne, and this is a different kind of fragrance really. So Chanel Eau de Cologne, very much their rendition of the classic citrus Eau de Cologne in the style of things like Farina's original Eau de Cologne or 4711 by Mora and Wirtz, therefore a little bit similar to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. Similar price bracket to that one because it's the Chanel Les Exclusive. You want an excellent citrus Eau de Cologne, basically citrus, neroli and subtle musk. Wonderful for the high heat of summer, which we do have going on a little bit here in the UK for a change as I film this one. Next up, something slightly different. So we're now going to go for Boucheron Pour Homme. Boucheron Pour Homme, and as we can see, a nice empty bottle there. I do have a second backup bottle somewhere around the house too. So yeah, love this stuff. This is a kind of citrusy leaning fougere, I think. Again, opens up with green bitter accords, and it has this masculine kind of ruggedity in the undertones there. Green bitter oak moss citrus, and again, aromatics by the boatload have been thrown into that one. Really love Boucheron Pour Homme. Definitely an old school vibe. 1991 release, that one. So yeah, and more of an 80s smell than doesn't look anything like the mid-90s Aquatics that came out, or Jean Paul Gaultier Le Mal or anything like that. Moving on then, here's a more modern release, and this is Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Really simple citrusy fragrance, nothing exciting, but it smells very similar to the Dior, which one is it? Dior Homme Cologne, I think. Hope I got that right. Dior Homme Cologne, which is the one that basically smells like lemonade. It smells like homemade lemonade in a really good way. And this is exactly how that smells. Fresh, natural, maybe lemon and orangey type smells. Simple, but really, really nice and just great for hot weather again. And hence, as you can see, well, I've only had this one a little while, so I've got through that really fast. I only bought it in spring and we're in summer now. So I think it counts for my most worn list. Couple more to go, guys. Monsieur de Givenchy, and as you can see, I have the reissue version, the Mythiques series reissue version there. Let's see if we can get the full thing in camera. This is really, really nice. The old vintage version is a touch better with a bit more going on, but I got through a 100ml bottle of the Monsieur de Givenchy. It's kind of their answer to things like Chanel's Pour Monsieur, so it is a citrusy leaning chypre. Beautiful aroma on that one. Old school vibes, crisp, bitter and green. Really, really enjoy Monsieur de Givenchy. Let's balance that camera and continue. Just a couple to go. Armani Eau Pour Homme. Love this one. I have the vintage too, and I've used up most of my 100ml bottle in a short space of time. Amazing mid-80s citrus fragrance. Again, just that classic kind of profile. Nothing I can say in the description would be massively different to Eau de Guerlain, but it's its own little thing there. I love Armani Eau Pour Homme, and the modern reissue 2013 formula. Absolutely great. Again, I do have more adventurous fragrances, but these get used most because I'm out out in the day, going to the shops, even if I went on a date or something, I tend to lean for these kind of fragrances. Speaking of dates, when I do go on a date, which is rare, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme Eau de Toilette. Here we go, the vintage bottle, completely used up. Another one, almost used up. I've got two more backup bottles, and this is a real go-to. Citrus. I think there's mandarin, juicy notes in the opening of this one. We've got lovely herbal accords in there too, and a twist of tobacco, similar tobacco accord to Versace's The Dreamer, but this fragrance in and of itself much more citrusy and fresh leaning, and again that just makes it super versatile. I spray very liberally. The performance is not amazing actually, even on this vintage formula. You do have to try and get the Italian stickered version, which is still out there to be got, as I've got loads. That's my proof of that fact. Last but not least, no, we've got two more. Okay, this one is actually the wrong one. I've actually got through tons of bottles of the original Pinard Clubman aftershave. This is the vanilla version because I've thrown the plastic bottle away. Pinard Clubman is a classic aromatic fougere, a little bit like Penhaligon's Sartorial is sort of like a much better version of it. But this is actually just nice when you're not in the mood. So forget the vanilla one, which is actually good, but that's another story. The normal Pinard Clubman, you can get a sprayer, but you can just splash it all over. It's clean, it's powdery, it's dappery, it's a clapper, it's a classic fougere, similar to Brut by Fabergé, but it's got its own little magic. Floral accords, lavender and herbs and spices with citrus. Absolutely love it. And here's the other biggie for me, and that's my Dior Eau Sauvage Classic, the vintage version, pre-something, whatever year they changed the formula. This is so good. Again, classic citrus opening. Then you've got a jasmine note. There's a Hedione accord, first fragrance to use, or one of the first to employ Hedione, which is also in Aventus and many other things. A note derived from jasmine, which has been clinically proven to affect the part of women's brains responsible for sexual attraction. So they say. Wish it had worked for me, but never mind. This fragrance still smells really good. Love the bottle design. And again, if you can seek out the old vintage version, it's well worth your while. Don't forget to check out our amazing citrus fragrances. Bon Viveur, amazing for summertime. Don't overlook Bon Viveur. It's one of our better, well, they're all brilliant, but it's as good as the other three in our range. And the other really fresh one, I guess, would be Gravitas Essentia, our latest release, a fantastic follow-up to the original Gravitas. That's nortonandwilson.com. There's a link in the description of this video to check out and buy those fragrances, which I do wear quite a bit too, but I decided to focus on other brands today. So these are my most worn, and I can prove it because they're all empty. I've got through two or three other bottles of this Eau Sauvage. So these have all been used heavily by Mr. Smelly. Let me know what you think about that, and if you enjoyed this style of video, please do subscribe to the channel if you didn't already. I'll see you in the next one. Whatever you're doing, let's project. And remember, sometimes life may stink, but at least we can always smell good. Bye-bye.
Bon Viveur, le nouveau parfum pour homme par Norton et Wilson. Parce que la vie est faite pour être appréciée.